Hello everyone, here we are.
Yes, we are. Prepping for Mother's Day.
We are, which is this weekend. And we are going to make this gorgeous orchid today with you. I was working on it last night, prepping, getting ready, and I have all kinds of fun things to talk about this orchid.
Can't wait. Yeah, I suggested that we make this orchid together because I cannot keep orchids alive for the life of me. And I think they're just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think it also has like a kind of a motherly
Vibe
essence
to it. Yeah. We made our first potted orchid plant like this, which was a lot bigger, quite a while ago, and it sits in our studio, and it's one of the most, I don't know, talked about when people come in and look at our studio.
It's huge too. That one's like
it's pretty big.
Yeah, so I'm here watching the chat. I've got the chat right over here. So if you have any questions while we're working that's related to the flower, go ahead and type a uppercase Q and then your question, just so that I can make sure to see it as we're working.
Right, because a lot of times those feeds go by really fast, and if we miss it, just pop it in there again. We're hanging with the smaller team today, so we're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, should we do the tools here?
Go for it.
So, as usual, we have our scissors. I have for those of you who are new, these are our favorite scissors. These are Kai. We have our craft scissors and also our detail scissors. And of course, you do have the SVG. If you have a cutting machine with a rotary blade, you can cut all of the pieces there on your cutting machine. But it's a pretty easy pattern to cut. I think there's not a lot of petals, and they're all fairly easy shapes.
Simple shapes.
Absolutely. We have our needle nose pliers and wire cutters, and I'll be using both of those functions today. I do have the full set of ball tools, and this is going to be a fun one to use because you'll see there's some fun tips on which ball tool to use.
Okay.
Of course, we have our curling tool, and this is our special emerald green version. I have a paintbrush to put the Mod Podge on the leaves. And an addition that I threw in last night, I did a quick update. I have a very small blending brush, and I'll show you why the material we'll be using that for. A couple additions that I also didn't put on the list, but they're optional. I love having my needle nose tweezers always, and you can use this brayer when making your leaves. It's totally optional. If you don't have a brayer, don't worry about it. Okay, so our materials, we'll start with crepe paper. We have our vanilla and white crepe paper combination. You can use any color you want, honestly. This is just the one I chose. I decided to go with a lighter orchid, but I didn't want the white on white because I wanted a bit of that warmth with the yellower side. I have my ferns and moss double-sided for the leaves. You can use either of the double-sided for the leaves if you want to. I have my fern light color. We're going to be using that to wrap stems as well as buds, and then my juniper extra fine. So those two are extra fine.
Great.
And then, of course, our Barely Art Precision Glue, and we have our Mod Podge. Then, oh, I forgot about these. We have our spun balls, and this is the 15 and the 12 centimeter. And if millimeter, sorry, not centimeter. Thanks, Anna. You don't have to stick with this size. You can do a little smaller. I probably wouldn't go much bigger, but you could adjust depending on what you have. And then for wire, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you just forgot the markers.
I'm
sure you'll get there.
All right. For wire, we're going to start with our white 24 gauge wire. We don't need a whole lot of that. We are going to use quite a bit of our 18 gauge green wire. And then if we need an extra stem, we'll be using our thick stem wire, depending on how long you want your stem. Okay, so for color, I'm using a couple different things. And again, it's up to you which colors you want to use. You don't have to follow what I'm doing. But I'm using this, just a pale yellow. It's 025 Tombow marker. The only thing I would suggest is maybe use a brush marker, because I'll show you when we apply the marker. And then I'm using a paint marker just to add a little extra pop of color to the center. And this is the orange Posca.
Great.
There's so many great paint markers out there, though.
Yeah.
So we keep finding new ones that we love. This was the last minute thing that I decided to do last night when I was working on this. My little small blending brush, I'm going to be using the bright yellow green pan pastel. And again, this is totally optional. And the reason why I decided to do that is I wanted to blend the stems together right here at the transition.
I can see that, yeah.
And it's not, you don't have to, but it just...
It does. It adds a little smoothness. And I was thinking also while you're talking about these colors, well, it could be any color of orchid. The first version that you were experimenting with was pink orange color, and I loved it personally. So I think that would be beautiful. But you could also do color with pan pastel instead of the markers if you've got some at home.
You could do pan pastel or even colored pencil. You could. There's so many different options of how you can color these petals. The pink orange one that I made, the coral one, it looked almost neon to me, and that's why I backed away from it.
But for some people.
And I was trying to keep it very simple because we want this to be accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
All right, we have our template that you can download. Even if you're cutting on your cutting machine, I think it's always nice to have this to, reference, to know exactly, where things go. And sorry to do this to you all, but I did add a little tiny piece last night. We have a little teeny tiny heart piece in there, and I did cut it on my cutting machine, and I will tell you, I would cut it out by hand because the cutting machine.
Tiny.
Yeah,
I can see it in there.
Yeah, it really chewed it up. So if you haven't cut this, don't worry because you can just cut it out by hand really quick.
And add it in at the end. It's like kind of right on the top. Not a structural piece.
All right, we're going to move all this gorgeous crepe paper out of the way. And here, let's get our tools set up here. Organized and set.
And I also found out that there's a few people in our community that didn't know that we are related. So this is my mom.
And her mom.
Yes, I have been working here for 4 years now. So it's been great. And surprise for those of you who didn't know.
All right, here we are. I've cut out all my pieces. I also have my green. And the first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to set you on task for this one, Emily, is we're going to Mod Podge our leaves because this takes a little bit of time to dry. I just want to give you all a heads up if you are making this flower and you're wanting to give it to someone for Mother's Day. We have kind of a shortened version because it would take, I would say, at least 3 hours total to make this. And of course, we don't want to have you sitting here for 3 hours, but you can always go back and watch the replay as you work along because we'll be kind of giving you every step, but not necessarily doing every flower. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so when I'm going to put the Mod Podge on my leaves, one thing that I really liked is to keep the same color facing the same direction. That way, once I'm done, I have a two-tone leaf. Up to you. I'm going to grab some 18 gauge wire, and when I'm using Mod Podge, I really when I'm using Mod Podge with this green, I really do like to add some into a little dish because it will stain your Mod Podge.
Yes, the dye, the natural dye that's in this really comes off with a brush. Let's grab this brush.
And I have to say this is very satisfying. I'm going to let Emily do this.
Okay.
So yes, we can move that. Here, I'll put my tools over here.
Yeah, and Mod Podge is water soluble, but sometimes these brushes get a little.
I did try to wash it out really
fine.
well.
Easy enough. Easy enough to just break it back up.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is add the Mod Podge fully to one layer. Oh, I wanted to point this out too. I figured this out the other day. I had a stack of these. These are, go ahead. These are like cutting mats, and personally I'm a no plastic kitchen. So I would never use this as a cutting mat, but it's really great for doing Mod Podge and painting because they wash off really nicely. So I love it for that.
Is this
Another little trick is to use your
tweezies
instead of your fingers. That way you can
Do you think
keep it nice
that's
and clean.
enough or too much?
Nope, that's perfect.
Great.
You can determine which is the bottom and which is the top. The bottoms have more of a round, and the tops are slightly more pointed.
Yes, I don't make a lot of paper flowers, so this is my first one in a while.
All right, I'm going to snag it away from you,
Okay.
and I'll make sure my wire is fairly straight. And you can put a good amount of Mod Podge on this. You want to work quickly because you don't want it to dry. And I will lay that wire right down the center. Notice that I have a bit of gap on the top here.
Yep.
And also your bottom layer will have stretched a bit, or it will have relaxed because of the wetness of the Mod Podge. And this is where you might want to use your brayer.
It's a great way to use this tool.
Yeah, it is.
And it really gives that like leaf center with when you bray it, because it kind of folds the crepe around it.
So there's the first, and what we'll do is go ahead and let those dry. Right, we have 3 layers of Mod Podge to do on these leaves, so that's why we want to get started. So go ahead and do those too.
I'm laughing at your comment, Christine. She said, "But I love getting green Mod Podge all over my fingers."
Especially when you're working with white crepe paper for your flowers. So fun thing about this too, we just finished filming a new masterclass that we're going to release this summer, and it's Megan who's teaching the masterclass, and it's paper plants. So this technique is done quite a bit, and yeah, it was just really fun watching her from that side. I was running camera too for that. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do to get it, give it enough time to dry, is grab 5 wires. So we have 4 or 5 of your 18 gauge. And notice for this plant, I'm not cutting down my wire. I'm actually using the full length of the wire. I'm going to fill the hole with glue and just slide that in. And by the time we're ready, this will be perfectly solid and dry.
Do you have the brayer?
I do have the brayer. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Thank you.
There you go. So go ahead. You can use hot glue for this, but honestly, this glue works perfectly fine, and especially if you do it ahead of time, these will be ready for you when you're ready to make your buds. Have we checked any questions lately?
No, looks like we're doing great. We're still at the beginning here.
It's actually kind of fun to see the feed over there. I was telling Emily, you know, when I teach over here by myself, it's like, oh, is anyone there? Because it's nice to see this.
I know, there's always a good amount of chatting going on.
Yeah. So for this, I am doing 3 of the larger spun balls and 2 of the smaller. And this will be how we finish out the stem of that orchid. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is grab our split leaves. So we have, let's see, four pieces, or 2 leaves for, or not leaves, I'm sorry, petals, our split petals. We have 1 of the large, so 2 petals for the large, and then we have 2 of the medium orchids, so we'll have 4 for that. Yep, I know there's more here somewhere.
Should I go ahead and paint these now that they're on? You want me to paint this over the top?
I would just give them a little bit of a dry.
Okay.
Mod Podge, it gets soaked really easy, and you'll see as we work along with this.
Set this
Yeah, you can set it aside. I would drop this in a water. So
good thinking.
I did bring a cup of water. Okay, I seem to be missing one, but that's okay because I have some pre-made. I'm going to let you make one.
Okay.
And I'll make the other. This is fun. We haven't crafted together for a while.
Are you doing white? You're doing white side up.
Yes. And for this, we don't need a whole lot of wire, so I'm just going to cut some short pieces. I'll do like, oh, what is it? Little bit of a 2 inch. 2 inches will work. And then you can cut 2 inches. So one of the things that when I was making this orchid and seeing if we could give it a little bit of a upgrade, I guess, I don't know, and make it easier for everyone, I decided to wire the petals. One thing I don't like about, oh, I have a glue for you, sorry. I don't like that it shows the wire, but I think the benefits outweigh not having wire. Okay, so if you can get close up, I don't know if you can, Matthew. I have put the wire, I would say about maybe 2/8 of an inch beyond that last curve.
Yeah.
So it's barely tipping into the petal.
See, here, let's see. It's like right about there.
Yeah, maybe even a little lower.
Like there.
Uh-huh.
That's surprising. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you just want it to really hit the stem and then barely tip into the petal itself. And then I'll give a bit more glue on top of my wire So we want it to be really nice and sealed. Place that over the top and then seal it with your fingers. And watch your overlay. Try to get your overlay fairly minimal so that it doesn't have quite the stripe will be thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and do those. Do that with both of your petals. And if you're making, the whole plant, you'll have one of the large blooms and then 2 medium. I did not test this glue.
Here,
Let's try this one. That's okay. I got it. I'm going to switch you.
Okay.
I didn't get it. Since I'm on camera, I need mine to run a little smoother. Okay. I do love this glue, and I love the fine point, especially when you're working with something so delicate.
Yeah, the fine point is great.
And you want to just make sure that seam is nice and sealed. You can pinch it between your fingers. If you see that you have a little bit of an overlap there, you can always go in and, or not an, yeah, like one end is higher than the other. You can go in and trim it if you want to. Up to you.
My fingers are already green somehow.
I know, so are mine. And I don't even know, I didn't even touch green. Okay, then the next thing we'll do is take our
Look,
set.
you got green on your petal.
Well, there we go. We have 3 of this size petal for each flower. And again, white facing up.
Okay.
Anna's coming to the rescue. And we'll use more of the white wire.
Thank you.
And the same thing, you just want little 2-inch pieces.
Here, keep your pan pastel away from your white petals.
I'm glad I didn't wear a white shirt today. Or white pants.
Okay. So
Okay.
2 more.
You'll want 3 more. So each orchid has the 2 side petals, and then it has the 3, and these actually aren't even petals, they call them sepals. The middle one is called something else, and then the 2 side ones are called
I think I'm doing this too short. So this
sepals.
is about 2 inches again.
Yep, about 2 inches. And same thing, we're just going to add the glue onto the stem itself, and then about 2/8 of an inch up onto the petal. Place my wire right on the top of the glue, and then I'll pinch it closed. I just kind of fold it over the wire. You can kind of roll the stem to make it nice and tight. Then I bring in my fingernails and pinch it nice and flat so that you can't see any wire.
This is one of those times it's so cool to see how crepe paper is so sculptable.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just set those aside to dry. I'm keeping my white side up for this. But if whichever side you want to face the bloom side to be, that's the side you'll work on. Oops, I don't think I put enough glue on that, so I'll add a bit more. You really don't need a whole lot of glue, but I think I under glued.
It's a cool technique with the pinching. You really barely can see that wire.
You really can't. And it's sort of, it stretches around, the crepe stretches around the wire.
Mm-hmm.
But I found, the first one I made, the neon coral one, I found that it was hard to keep the petals from not flopping.
Yeah.
And it might be because when we made the orchid before, we were using hot glue rather than this white glue.
Mm.
And I really do prefer the white glue at this point.
Colleen says, I'm using purple crepe. Should I still use white wires?
No, I would go ahead and use the dark.
The dark green.
Yeah, go ahead and use the dark green. And I want to see this. The purple
Yeah, post a picture.
orchid will be gorgeous.
Post a picture when you're done.
Yes, please.
Well, unless they're using the light purple, they might want to use the white wire. That lilac
If you're
color.
using the lilac and you made yourself a double-sided, you could make this out of extra fine since we're wiring it. But if you are using the lilac crepe, you could make yourself a double-sided with the fusible web. And yeah, I would probably use the white wire for the lighter colors, for sure. You don't want that green coming through.
Yeah, this would be pretty in that dark purple. I'm guessing that's what they're using.
Well, we'll see when she sends us a photo.
Send us a photo, Colleen. We want to see it.
We do. Okay, so this is for you. Now we have the center. I have to look at my example to remember which way I did it. Doop. Okay, doesn't matter. There we go. I'm going to add just a bit of glue right in the center of this piece that looks like a dog bone. And then I'll place the tongue of the flower right over the top. I decided to do this in 2 pieces because I wanted the grain line to match the direction of the flower, because we're going to shape that quite a bit. So you'll go ahead and just press that down, make sure it's nice and sealed. We're going to add a lot of color to this, so it's nice to have it really sealed.
And you place this right where that curve starts, it looks like. So the dog bone is right where that curve.
That's right.
Dog bone.
Okay, the last one, I should have done this early and I just remembered, but that's okay, we'll get it done because I have 2 already made. I'm going to take, this is a strange technique.
Excited.
I know, right? I'm going to take a bit of my white crepe paper and just cut myself a fine strip here. You don't need a whole lot. I'll tell you exactly how much I have. 5 inches, and you may not even use all 5 inches. An 18 gauge wire, and here's one for you. Oop. And some white glue, and I'm going to, I'll show you the final result here.
This is the little like tongue of the orchid.
Yes, the tongue of the orchid. So I'm going to wrap the end of the wire like this, and then I'm going to dip it in the Mod Podge.
Okay. Is that new? Did you didn't dip these ones in the Mod Podge, did you?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
All right, so again, using the white on the outside, the kind of creamy color upward where I add my glue. And this is where you can have fun sculpting. I like to start at the top. At some point, I'm going to try and get the tip of that so that I don't have a green dot. I will tell you, if you miss it and you have a green dot at the tip, pull out a white paint pen and just dab it. That's a good solve for that. And for this, I would bring it down about 1.5 inches. You won't be using all of that, but it's just nice to have that extra.
This is a very cute technique. Now I am curious, why did you decide to do this kind of the stem wrap technique over like a longer piece of crepe that you just folded over? If that made sense.
I'm not sure if I understood what you asked, but try that again.
the stem wrap technique where you're wrapping a small piece around versus a wider piece that you just wrap around once.
Because I like to shape it so it's a bit thicker, thick and thin. It has a bit more thick and thin.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a great answer.
Yeah. So I'll probably use this whole piece here. We'll see. This is very, you know, every single one of my orchids, it looks a bit different.
Just like nature.
Mm-hmm. And it really depends on the angle that you move it, and I am pulling my crepe paper tight as I wrap the tip. And you know, if you have a different method of adding a white tip to your wire, that's fine. You could use paint, you could put a little clay around it, whatever works for you. I was trying to keep the materials very simple and make it so that people didn't have to get extra things and just use what we had on hand.
I like this, and I like that you dipped it in the Mod Podge to really give that seal.
And kind of smooth it out a bit. So I'll go ahead and just dip it in all the way to the end. And unfortunately, the Mod Podge is fairly thick, so I have to kind of hold it and let it drip. We can tap it on the side here.
Are you stretching? Yes, we are stretching the crepe as we're wrapping.
Yeah, stretch the crepe. If you want to, you could always stretch it before you wrap. That works too.
It's kind of nice to stretch as you wrap because you kind of use it to add tension. Again, I'm not an experienced crepe paper flower maker, so it's fun to finally get my hands on this.
All right, so that looks pretty good to me.
That
looks great. You can go ahead and dip yours. And I'm gonna put it off camera here just to dry.
And you just let it full gloop.
Yep, full gloop, and just, yeah, if you turn it over too soon, you could probably hang it if you wanted to, but if you turn it over too soon, it will run down the stem, and that's probably not the effect you want.
Okay.
So now that we've kind of set ourselves up with all of the pieces, we've kind of started the process. I'm going to have you before you put the Mod Podge away, bring your leaves back over and let's give them another coat.
Alrighty. I'll scoot these over.
So something, kind of a tip that I learned because I did it the wrong way, is once you paint on your plastic, you might want to move your leaf someplace else, or else you get this nice little crispy see-through edge around, which you can always cut off. And because the bottom is stretched out more so than the top, you can see that the leaf isn't even. We're going to cut that out anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just go ahead and give it a nice coat. And you'll notice when you Mod Podge, your crepe paper will warp. It will make all kinds of shapes, and that's okay.
It will flatten back out.
For the most part, and it also looks more leaf-like when it's a bit warped.
So you said once I do this, go ahead and set it over here.
Yeah, I like to have one spot where I paint, and then I move it off the sticky part.
That makes sense to me.
Okay, why am I not seeing? Oh, here it is. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to show my technique. I like to have an extra piece of scrap paper when I'm doing this, just to really test my marker. I don't want to ruin this piece. So and also to kind of get my flow. So for this paint marker, I'm painting basically on the flat edge of the marker. You can see how I'm giving it a very light brush. So I'll start here with the bigger piece. I've kind of pushed it away, away from me so that it matches my stroke. Does that make sense? So I'm matching my stroke to the grain, and then I'm just kind of giving it a nice little lightweight brush. And it doesn't need to be even. This is very organic shaped. I'll go ahead and bring that yellow up the stem. You don't need to go all the way, and then just catch it right here on the edge.
Yes, to me this looks really similar to the Dairy Lied yellow.
It does. The reason why I decided not to use pan pastel, which you can if you want to, is because these are so tiny and I needed to really bring the color into some specific areas. Yeah.
That makes sense. The pan pastel might spread.
Yeah, but you could use pan pastel, absolutely. That is an option.
And we do have a question really quick.
Yes.
Susie is wondering if they could use heavy crepe paper for the leaves or if it would be too soggy.
I don't usually use heavy crepe paper with Mod Podge. Not to say we've never done it, but it has so much stretch that when you add that liquid, when you add that moisture, it just gets really bumpy. If anything, I would take the extra fine crepe paper and do a lamination with the fusible web instead.
And we have a video on that in our Craft Academy.
We
if
do.
You don't know how to do that yet. It's very easy.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We just have things in the way today. So much going on. Okay. Can I use those tweezers? Now I have my paint marker. And the first thing I do, this is that little tiny heart that I told you all about. I don't know, it was just kind of an added thing at the end, and I'm like, I just want an extra shape, an extra layer. So I'm really just painting this heart, this orange. I'll set that aside and let it dry.
Side by side.
Doop. Here, do you want to paint your orange heart? And then I'll go back in here and just for fun, you don't have to do this, but I'm adding a little tiny line on the edge of my larger centerpiece. I'll show you close up here in a second, just to kind of bring those colors in together.
Yeah, and I can really see what you meant about the cutting machine tearing these up.
Yeah.
These little hearts, they're so teeny.
Yes, the ones that I cut by hand looked a lot better. Okay, here we go. So you can see I just added a little bit of the orange on the edges there. And then I'm going to take this piece and split this little tongue right in the middle. And I'm going to set that aside and let it completely dry before we start adding shape.
And did you paint both sides of this heart or just the one?
Just one.
Okay.
You don't need to do both sides.
And then can you show me again where to add the orange on the... Here,
So I just added it right on the edge of the yellow.
Okay.
Yep, on the edge of the paper where the yellow. Okay. And it's, you know, this was just me. Do it the way that you prefer.
Yeah, I think if you're doing other colors, I always recommend this, is just look at real flowers. Find one that you like.
That's what I did,
Kind of try and mimic that look. So if you're doing a different color, I saw one earlier today on Crafters that was pink with a little pink edge, and it was so pretty.
Yeah, and you know, the reference that I was looking at might look different than the reference you're looking at. So go ahead and, you know, just play with that. Next thing we're going to need is a curling tool. I did say that right.
Are we done with these?
Yes, we're done with the markers. And I'm going to just go in and shape around the edge of my large petals. It gives a nice soft finish. And then also my small petals.
And then for those of you who are new to shaping petals, do you want to go over like how you kind of do this? It's like a pressing...
Yeah, for this one, you know, there's a couple different techniques. For this double-sided, usually I'll just put the paper between the curling tool and my thumb and just pull it. And I try to pull it in the direction of the actual crepe lines. Even if I'm at an angle here, I'm still pulling it the direction of the grain.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll go ahead and use my thumbs and just gently stretch. You don't want a whole lot. It's very, very slight. It wasn't quite dry yet. When you're working on a whole plant, you have a bit more time to let things dry between, which is really helpful.
Are we stretching these ones in the middle at all?
Very slightly, yes. You don't want a flat piece of paper or flat petals. You want to have just that gentle orchid shape.
Soft, organic.
Yes. Okay, my petals are ready. This is where our ball tools come in. I like having all four of them because I'm going to be using them throughout. The buds, there's very specific sizes, but for this, I'm just looking for a ball tool that's a bit smaller than the actual, crepe paper shape that I'm wanting to shape. So this one is, let's see here, 1, 2, it's the third smallest in this set. I'm placing my fingers underneath the petal itself, and then all I do is just press and stretch around. And I forgot something. Before you do that, take this and go ahead and shape those little arms.
Oh yeah, I didn't cut mine.
Yeah, split it in half.
And you split it almost to the middle.
About halfway up, yes. So I'm going to shape all 3 of these pieces before I add my ball tool.
And you're they're hugging in.
Yeah.
And since this is not dry, I'm really having to support it.
Yeah, you have to be really careful. And again, when you're working on multiple flowers, you have more time. But just for time's sake, we needed to kind of get going. I'm doing the same thing here for each half. I kind of crunched it, but each half of my larger shape, I'm using the same size, just placing it in there and letting that crepe paper hug as I stretch it. Okay?
Perfect. Okay. Here,
Then,
will you go over that with me? Let's wait. Let me do it.
Oh, okay.
Let me do
You
it.
know what? That was a mom thing. I just took it away and tried
No,
to
I want to do it. Okay, so this kind of a thing.
Just give it a nice, yeah, just sort of press the crepe paper up and around as you stretch it a bit. And be gentle. You can tear this.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to do that again on those little holes. Okay, thank you.
Now I'm taking a smaller, almost the smallest ball tool, and I'll shape that little heart just to give it a bit of a cup shape.
And Matt, to answer your question, no, there is no Mod Podge on the petals.
I Mod Podged the orange one, the neon one, and ended up not liking it because to me it looked plastic. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing is I've curved and curled this so it has a nice cup just with my ball tool. Then, turning it over, adding a dot of glue, and then I'll place it right in that cross section. This is partly why I wanted to add that piece because it kind of hid where the crepe paper met. Gave it a nice smooth transition.
Maybe I'm just new at this, but you're going very fast for me. So when we're back here, Yeah. I've shaped these little holes.
That looks great.
But this still, it looks a little different than yours. Yours has
I
more
shaped mine a bit more.
So you did you do more here in the middle?
No, I just did it on each side.
Okay.
I was probably more aggressive with my curling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much to do. Like, I'm scared I'm going to tear the paper, so I'm definitely going
Yeah, go gentle.
gentle.
Yeah,
Okay.
that looks great.
Okay.
And then take the little teeny one and go ahead and shape your heart.
And we're just going full send.
And you don't have to be too aggressive because you can kind of press the crepe paper around.
Yeah, and mine is still a little soggy from my marker. Okay.
And you can see mine isn't necessarily perfect here. It's
And then the heart faces with the point towards the top.
yes, correct.
Okay.
All right, how you feeling?
Great. So tropical.
It is. Okay, now we're going to go back over here and get these. I made these ahead of time so they'd be dry. And I'm placing the center in my hand and I'm going to kind of measure where I want this. So this little middle, I don't know, centerpiece, I'm going to have it overlap that orange heart just maybe a 1/16, 1/8 of an inch right in there. So you can kind of see where I'm at.
It's just ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly. Then take my glue and at the only the bottom half of my stem, I keep grabbing the wrong glue.
Here. I know we have like 3 floating around and only one is cleared.
Yes. Note to self, test glues before video. Okay, so I'll place only a half of it will be glued because we want that other stem to have some flexibility. And then I'll place it and pinch it on. And once that's dry, this will curve down. Let's see if I can get this here. Oops. So we'll curve it down like this once it's dry. But I'm going to let it dry first before I do that.
Pretty.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready for the big stuff now? It's nice to have a place to drop things while you're letting things dry. So I'm just going to bring this jar.
And I've got to get a laptop charger.
Okay.
Pardon me.
All right, I'm going to start with my 2 larger petals, and this is where I'm using my needle nose tweezers. At the base of this petal, you can see the curve. When the curve starts to go into the straight is where you want to pinch it and then give it a 45-degree angle on both of them. And then for the 3 smaller petals, we'll just be right at the base and give that a 45-degree angle.
I meant to grab one of those before we started, and I forgot. Okay, 90-degree angles.
Is that 45 or 90? That's 45. 90 is straight. Matthew, that's a 45. Thank you.
45-degree angles.
I have made that mistake before, so I just didn't want to be that person today.
And you're bending every petal.
I'm bending all of them, and I like to use the needle nose tweezers, but you can use your fingers. Okay, so then on my large petals, I have this beautiful flat surface here of crepe paper. I'm going to add a bead of glue. And then turn that over and place it. Oh, yes. Yeah, our zoom and my hands are not lining up. And right where your crepe paper attaches to your center is where we'll place that petal.
Okay, so that is down a bit.
Yep. Because you don't. Yep. But we're overlapping. You can see here we're overlapping the little center piece. So it's about half and half on and half off.
And you did the double-sided petal. Oh, and you're slightly to the side. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I would say don't worry. I mean, you want to get your petals in the basic place that they need to be, but don't worry about your final placement. We can adjust it a bit once we've finished and the flower's dry. We can move things around just a little bit. So I'm going to show you. I'll show you all directions here. So we have, here's where my petals are landing as far as how they, position compared to the center. And then when I turn it over, you can see it's a little bit upward with a small gap here and a larger gap at the base.
It's a 90-degree angle, by the way. I just looked it up.
Hold on.
Yeah, it is 90.
Okay, we all made that mistake.
Thank you, Chris. Chris.
Oh my goodness, what is it with numbers? And
We're artists.
I have no excuse. That's ridiculous.
That's our ongoing joke, family joke. We're just artists. It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. 90 degrees. It is 90. That's what I thought.
Okay, so then we'll take one of our center petals, or one of the smaller petals.
Once again, I'm very far behind.
Add a bead of glue. I know, it's unfortunate we didn't have anyone to answer questions today, and we're kind of...
You're going very fast.
I'm doing the best I can.
I'm just going very slow.
I'm trying not to make this a 2-hour class.
I know. I think they like hanging out with us for 2 hours.
I don't know. You guys tell us. Would you prefer this to be a 2-hour class? We can slow down if you need.
No, they can pause it. I'm just moving slow.
Yeah, you can pause on replay and always rewatch.
Okay, so I'm almost caught up. Doing 2 at once.
So now I've placed that small petal between. Again, don't get too concerned if it's not exact because we can move it around. And this glue, I love this glue because it dries really quickly. Like, what, I had that on less than a minute?
Yeah.
And it's already in place.
And that's correct.
That looks good, yep.
Here, this is where I'm at, if you see. Like 2 little ears.
And then we'll take the last 2, add that line of glue on top, and then we'll place it right underneath those 2 larger petals. And the petal angle is all at the same place all the way around the flower, so that makes it a bit easier. Once you get your first 2 on, you can just follow that line. I worked hard on trying to figure out how to make this as simple as possible so anyone could do this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so thrilled with how gorgeous this looks. And
it does.
That's how I feel every time I make a paper flower. It's just really cool to see what we're capable of. It looks intimidating, but once you do it, it's just one step at a time, right?
Yep. And we'll put our last petal on. I will arrange this a bit different once it's dry, but for now I just want to get it tacked onto that. And can you bring that jar back over?
Which jar? This one?
Yes, please. And now that I have these all on my stem, I'm going to go ahead and let it dry. So I'll just put it in that glass. And we're going to work on these guys. So starting with our larger balls, I have 2 sets of 4. So the centers, I'm using a whole 4 petals. And this is where I have fun with these balls. Can you give me those other 2 back? Sorry, we were a little short on space today, so I didn't do a double set of tools. Okay, for these petals, I think I'm going to use the same size as the ball, which is the second largest of the balls. So it's a slightly smaller, but it's similar size. And that's what the fun trick was. It's like, oh, what size of ball? Well, I want it to wrap around this paper ball, so just match that size. I'll go ahead and place the cream towards the ball. You don't have to do this part, so don't worry. And I'm going to slide my fingers back and forth like this to give it a nice cup. Oop, see, and I ripped it. Don't do that.
And also just, it's nice to see that sometimes it happens to us too.
Yes. And maybe cut yourself a couple extra. These are easy to cut. So I'm just giving it a nice round shape like this.
Okay, somehow my petals all ended up in crazy places.
It's okay because we will rearrange them once it's dry. You really want to give it time to dry, and then we can rearrange it.
Okay.
See if there's any questions, and I'll go ahead and.
It's good. Wait, 2 hours is fine. Yes, the 2 hours, and it's just pausing it is always.
Yeah.
But.
Well, we're going to be over an hour today, so we're just going to lean in.
We're doing great. Do you want me to do some stretching?
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
So I only have 1 set of ball tools.
Got it.
I'm going to demo this, and then we'll keep going. All right, so I have 4 of these. And you can see there's a rounder and then a pointier. I'm going to place the rounder towards the base of the ball, towards the stem. Can I have that other glue?
Here are 2.
I want the one that works. There we go.
Yeah, we
I think
lost
if
our
we
needles.
Yeah, if we had a pen, we could probably clean one of those out.
Needle.
I'll let you do that. All right, so what I am looking for this piece is to make sure that the base barely touches the wire. So we're just slightly overlapping. And then I'll kind of form this at the bottom here. That's not going to work.
That's fine.
I know. We have so many glues lying around, but we need someone to come in here and clean it up for us. All right. Anyone want volunteer? Just kidding.
I just put them in the dishwasher, all these little tops.
Now I'm going to take the top and form it around. What we want to do, this first petal, since we have 4, is we just want to make sure that the top of the ball is covered, whatever it takes. So that center top will not show, and this will all be covered. We'll take our second one, same direction, have the pointy side going up. I'm just putting glue on about the bottom half of my petal, and then I'm doing an overlap. And I'm not forming the top, I'm just forming the bottom half onto the ball and letting the top just float.
And while you're doing that, these look about dry.
You can flip it over.
Do the 3rd coat, and the 3rd coat's going on the bottom.
Yes, on the back side. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's something really cool about Mod Podged leaves.
Yeah, they look so realistic on the plant. Just having the shiny, thick, especially because it's double-sided, so it's 4 pieces of crepe paper. It's very thick.
It is. And, you know, like I said, when I Mod Podged the petals, it just too plasticky for me. I just didn't like.
I actually have that orange one on my desk because I think it's really pretty. But the petals are definitely quite floppy. So I think you did the right thing
with the wire.
The wire. I totally can see why you did that.
So you can see how I'm doing a rotation around this ball. It doesn't have to be exact. Just make sure that, you know, it looks like there's not too much of a gap there. That looks fine to me. You can see how it flares out at the tip, and I like that because it looks as if it might be blooming. All right, so you'll do 2 of those. I just magically happen to have another one done.
It's like the cooking show.
It is. Then we'll take the largest of the green. So we have the small and then these slightly larger. I'm going to use the same ball tool because we're going to wrap this thing around. Oh yeah, I think this is another reason to wash your brushes out really well, because
There's something
try this one.
coming out.
Yeah, I think it's just dried Mod Podge, honestly.
At least it's on the back side.
And this stretches much more. I just did this and then I remembered, don't stretch it all the way because you will be stretching quite a bit of it. I would say stretch it about half of its ability. You'll be stretching more as you place it on to the ball itself, because with the glue it will loosen it up. And I found when I stretched it too much, it became really curly and hard to work with. So that looks pretty good. Now, since it's so light, I'll start with adding the glue to the ball. Same idea. I'm not covering the whole ball. It's about half. And this one is really about covering that tip. These petals are a lot smaller than the white ones, so I'm actually going to just start off the tip and then work my way down, because I want to ensure that that tip gets covered, especially since it's white and this flower is green. And then we'll do our little rotation of the last 3 around the ball. Again, just I would say half or a little bit less. And I'm letting the top of these petals just float. Any questions over there?
No questions here. You guys can check out the leaves. That's with all 3 coats, and I'm just going to set these aside to dry.
My final 3 petals on this green one, I am actually bringing it all the way to the wire and touching the wire. If you get to the end and you find that you have some white showing, no problem, just throw another leaf on it. Like I do. Let's see, I don't think I have another one, but I will use one of these. This is a fun step, just to kind of take your time. It's not complicated, and
Just making buds.
just think of it as paper sculpting.
You're like making buds and hanging out with your buds.
There we go. All right, so there's one of that size, and then we have 2 of the small, and those will also be green. Same technique, just go ahead and stretch. For this one, I would use a smaller ball tool, so I'll use the ball tool that matches, and when you're done, they'll look like that.
And to answer your question, Grace Marie, yes. So it was 1 coat in the middle for the glue to get the wire, and then sandwich 1 coat on either side. And they ended up really shiny on this ones. You could probably do a second coat if you wanted them even shinier.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we have our buds done, I'm going to go ahead and finish them out. Our table was so full, I have to have a little side table there.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, so I'm taking my my fern crepe paper. I have a strip about 12 inches, folding it up. Doesn't have to be perfect, you just want those ends to be even. And then I'm cutting little strips about less than 1/2 inch wide.
Should I do 1?
Yeah, so all of these buds will have this light green. So even the green buds will have the light green, and then the 2 white as well.
It's kind of
just
that transition.
Yeah, and it just helps it look more like a bud. And I like having that variation of color versus everything dark green.
Well, I love this light green color. I just think it's so springy.
It is. This is such a delicate paper, and I like to, kind of place it around the top and then push it up a bit so that it catches any of that green wire. And you know, you stretch it very, very lightly. For some reason, I don't know if it's just in my brain because it's a lighter color, but this seems lighter weight than the darker green.
Yeah.
It seems very
Oh,
fragile.
just even more delicate. Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as how far to go down the stem, I would say halfway down the stem at least.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We are going to, you know, cover a lot of it, but I always go a bit further.
And then you just know you won't have
And
any
notice,
extras.
yeah, and that it will be covered. It will make it nice and smooth. And notice that I'm not cutting any of my wires
Yeah.
because we'll use them all to assemble.
Yeah, that's how we get that, how you got that built up shape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just think that's good.
That looks great.
Great. Boop.
Okay, then we have our 3 flowers, and we're going to do the same thing. Should we do it on these? I have some already made here just in case. Let's go ahead and do that one with the dark green. I have some pre-cut strips here.
And how far up on the back side are you taking
I am
this?
going all the way to the bend.
Okay.
And if you need to, because we have so many wires coming into the stem, you can do multiple layers. This crepe is so thin. If you want to do multiple layers to make it smooth, have a smoother transition.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Again, I'm rolling and stretching, so I kind of have it caught in my back fingers, and then as I roll and press, I'm sort of tugging the crepe paper. I'm sure everyone has kind of their own technique of doing this. That's sort of mine. When I hit the transition here where the wires are now gone and we're just on the main stem wire, I might lessen my angle so that I start to add more crepe paper and make it a bit thicker, so that we don't have such an abrupt change there.
My favorite thing is when you add the crepe paper over the glue and you can see it coming out the other side.
The glue,
Yeah.
it kind of oozes through like fabric.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then I'm going to show you, I'm looking at, this is obviously not quite the right direction. It's dry at this point. I like to have these 2 side petals, a slight gap between, and then this petal will be centered. And these 2 can actually be tucked behind, I would say at least halfway hidden behind this larger petal. And when you pull them apart and kind of move them around, I like to have slight gaps between each petal so they're not on the same plane. I think that looks a little more realistic.
And this is maybe again where I would want to pull up a reference just so that I could see kind
Yeah.
of exactly where.
Yeah. And that's really, you know, that's how we work when we're designing flowers, is we'll either have a photograph or sometimes the real thing in front of us so that we could make it as similar as possible.
Yeah, and see now that I've got this here, I'm like, I think I put my petals a little too close to this centerpiece.
And that's okay. Yeah. You want to grab
Or
that
maybe
jar?
it needs to be more closed.
You can if you want to. Would you like to bring that jar? I don't like setting these on the table. I like, because I don't want to smush my petals, so I'm going to put them all here. I am going to show you what to do with your leaves. I have extras here. I made these last night. Lots of extras. Are those dry yet?
These, no.
You can see how the leaves really, when they dried, they really curved. Some of
pretty.
them, yeah, some of them I actually put, the ones with the raggedy edges, I actually put underneath a book to kind of flatten them out. But this is where you can get your scissors out. Yeah, go ahead and grab some. And go ahead and trim around the edge. And I like to trim that extra overlap where the one side grew. And trim that off. Make it nice and clean. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, this is
Very
fun.
satisfying.
I feel like it also really gives that realistic, thick leaf look when it's just this perfect sealed edge. when you
Yes.
cut it off. It really looks realistic.
And I would, if you can, because you can always add your leaves at the end, give them a good 24 hours or overnight drying time. And I like using these little scissors because I can get in there nice and tight. You can use your larger scissors if you want to.
It almost feels like you're cutting plastic with all the Mod Podge in a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
Satisfying.
So for each plant, I have one large leaf and two smaller leaves.
Okay.
And optional, if you want to, you can kind of, curl it, but I can see that this is pretty shaped and I don't feel like I need to. So I'm going to decide what's my top and what's my back side. I'm going to go with the crepe paper, how it dried, where it sort of told me this is the back side, this is the front. Although when you bend them, it does kind of reshape them anyway. And those are ready to apply to the plant. Okay, now we're going to make a plant.
Okay.
So this is a great
That's
time.
the part I'm excited for.
Yeah, and there's only one plant, so you just have to watch. Sorry. This is where questions, if you have any questions, Emily can be watching that feed and make sure that we get any of your questions if you somehow we missed them. I'll go ahead and cut myself a bunch of these crepe strips.
Now, just so you know, she did ask me if I wanted to make my whole own plant
I did.
or if we wanted to collaborate. And I said, let's collaborate since I was watching the chat today too. And I get stressed. I move too slow.
No, it's not that. You're double tasking there. I also want some of these light green because we're going to start the top with the buds with the light green and then move it into the dark green. I probably cut too many, but I can always use them for something else.
Well, we always have like a whole bin of these sitting around.
All right, so let's do this. Now I'm going to get a little sweaty and stressed. So if you look at an orchid plant, again, each one's different. Here, let's pull this one over to reference. You can see how I've kind of curved each of the stems. And the way that I saw it was, here's my bud. Here's my bud, and then I'm going to curve it down into an arch and then move it back. And if you want to use your needle nose pliers, you can. I think they're all over there.
All of them. Every pair.
Every pair.
They ended
So you
up on
can-
my side.
To get a bit of a sharper bend if you want that. And, when I was building this first plant, I noticed that my buds were fairly far apart, and a lot of times the buds are closer on a stem, but I decided to do this cadence so that I had a nicer, longer arch since we only had 5 buds and 3 blooms. So it's up to you. If you have a larger plant and you have more buds and blooms, you can put them closer together.
Yeah, and I think this arch shape is just so pretty with the orchid. It's just so nice.
So I just noticed my first one, I'm not going to curve like that. This is just the second one. I need to kind of look at this to reference it as I go, just so I make sure it's, but this one, the first one, you do want to give it a curve. You don't want it to be straight. Otherwise it looks kind of unnatural. And then right here where they meet, that's where I'll start putting them together. And now is the perfect time to ask any questions.
I'm curious to see if anybody makes this in any other colors or in the white. We always love seeing them over on our crafters channel, our community page. I've been checking it every day and love seeing what you guys post in there. And is anybody making this to give to anybody? I'd love to know. Or are you making this for your own collection?
All right, so I wrapped it a couple inches. We're going to continue. We're going to have a lot of wrapping on this, so it will be solid by the time we're done. Can you all hear the construction going on behind us? As always, as always. Whoops.
Someday they'll be done.
That seems like it was too long, so I'm going to go back. As you work and as you bend, you can always go in and check it and see if it's where you want to see it. And rather than moving it down the line, you see how I have 2 wires, which makes a bit of a flat surface. The third one I'll actually pop on top to make kind of a triangular surface. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of rounding it out.
And I would say at least an inch between one stem join to the next stem join. And you can move these around once you have it done.
Yeah, they've been working on this construction for like a year now, it seems. But it's almost done. Sounds like they can
So
hear it.
so they say.
Yeah, so they say. It's been going on forever. It's also right next to our big window, so we get to listen to them all day.
You can read off any comments or what people are talking about.
Kelly says that she's going to give hers to her mother-in-law. Love that. I know I saw an email or comment somewhere. Somebody was saying that they were going to make it for their mother, which I think is really cute. I think this, personally, I love the idea of making this together. I think that would be really fun. Making
All
this
right.
with someone.
We have our 3 green ones, and now we're going to the white. And I'm just going to decide which one goes first. One might look larger than the other, might look about the same, so I won't worry about it. We'll keep adding it on. These little guys are pretty sturdy.
Yeah, that 18 gauge wire. It's thick.
Yep, I decided 18 gauge on purpose because I wanted it to be bulletproof.
And anybody that happens to have an extra one this week is both Teacher Appreciation and Nurse Appreciation Week.
Love that. And if you couldn't hear, Anna said any extra flowers, this is a great time to give to our teachers and our nurses. It's Teacher Appreciation and Nurse Appreciation Week. Beautiful. Love that, Anna. Thank you.
I'm going to let you take the rest of this out and get the pot ready for us. So we can,
I see.
yeah. Now this isn't the final formation that I'll be using. All I'm doing right now is getting the flowers onto the stem in a fairly even cadence. We can always move them around. And hopefully this, yeah, that looks pretty good.
And this one is rocks and this one is moss.
Yes. So while I'm finishing this up, let's talk about size of container. It's really your own personal preference. I prefer, since this is a smaller orchid, it's not the large one. I actually like a bit more of a petite
I think this is a
container.
perfect size.
Yeah, because it really gives the flower the view. You know, it's not bottom heavy.
Yeah.
And if you go and buy an orchid, oftentimes they're in very small pots, even if it's a fairly tall orchid. I did choose white for this because
It matches.
it matches. But you know, pick your own, whatever really suits your personality. And this one I put moss, and this one I did pebbles, just to show you the difference. Love them both. Each of them has a foam in the base. All right, let's see. I need those other 3 flowers.
Okay.
Since those are still drying, I don't want to mess with them. Before I put the other 3 on, I can move this around just a bit. Usually I think orchids they follow a line, but they're not perfectly straight and organized, but they're all kind of in the similar space. So I probably will keep all these orchids on the top of my arch. And as I arch it around, you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And you can move them around, give them a little bit more of an arch. Kind of like this. You can wait till you're done before. Is this the small one? Okay.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah. There's one that's a little bit larger, and it's very subtle.
I think this one's the big one.
Okay. Again, stick that in there. So same thing with the orchids. I give them about a 3-inch neck, 3 to 4. And now I'm going to start attaching them with the darker crepe paper. This is where I get super nervous and sweaty, just so you know. Is that
great.
TMI? I'm like, what if it doesn't turn out?
Well,
What if...
it's the nice thing is it's wire, and you can
No,
really move it around.
I'm kidding.
It always turns out.
I'm kidding, but not kidding. How's that? This is real.
Do we have a source for the small pots? I always recommend looking in your local thrift stores for pots. I think that they can have some really great options, and you can also find them at just like grocery stores. We find a lot of our decorative pots at furniture stores like West Elm.
Or we used to. We don't do that as much anymore.
We just have quite a large collection at this
We
point.
do. We go to the floral wholesale house, but you can also find things at your florist.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons.
Yeah, New Seasons.
Great.
Yeah, well, they don't have New Seasons there, but yes, anywhere but Idaho.
Local thrift shops. That's my suggestion. Christine says garage sales as well.
Garage sales, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think the nice thing about giving a gift of a potted plant like this or a potted flower is that it's done and it's ready.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it will last forever. And it's a handmade art piece.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Really very sculptural.
Mm-hmm. I'm allowing my flower stems to be a bit longer. On this one, on the one that's finished, I really arranged it quite a bit to place them where I wanted them. And right now I'm not really worrying which direction they're going as I'm getting them on. I'm just getting them on the stem.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Christine says that this is her favorite part because it's when it really starts to come together.
Yes. Mine too. Other than the sweaty. You can see how beautiful the stem is merging, and it's all sort of the same. There's no bumps. It's all, kind of the same thickness.
Well,
which
and I love
love
this technique too because it really mimics how plants grow in nature. It's like the parts split apart to make and then come together to make the stem. So.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to arrange this in a minute, but what I want to see is how much longer I want my stem. I think I want to bring this over quite a bit more. And I'll arrange the flowers. But I think I'd like it to sit in the pot. So what I'm going to need is this thick stem. And I'll just cut it off when I'm done. But I'm going to start merging it, the fine point, the thinner point, I'm going to start merging it into the wire.
And did you attach the leaves or did you just put them in?
I will attach the leaves once I know the height.
Okay.
Actually, pull it out and see. I think I did attach them
Yeah, it looks like you did.
just to keep them all in place.
Well, that's a great idea, Christine. She says for little arrangements she can use to give away. She's used mugs.
Oh yeah.
They come. They're great at the thrift stores or garage sales, which is so true. There's always so many mugs at the thrift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for this one, I'll probably do a double layer when I do my merge from the 18 gauge to the thick stem, just to make sure it's nice and smooth and solid. You can see my flower flipping around. I'll try not to hit the mic. Matthew?
You're good.
Good. And I'm not going to wrap all the way down because I am going to trim it. I didn't want to trim it quite yet, so... All right, I'm going to give that a few rounds of wraps just to make it as smooth as possible.
If people like orchids, we have a few other varieties like the Macara.
Yeah, the Macara, loved that one. In fact, the Macara orchid is where I demonstrated how to do our own double-sided crepe paper. That's a really good demo on how to use the two colors that we don't have in double-sided and make it those two kind of pinky orange colors.
I
So you can
love
use the same
that.
technique.
Yep.
Yeah.
Double-sided here.
Yeah,
I love that Macara orchid. That's probably one of my all-time favorite flowers you've ever made.
I like it too.
Michelle is wondering what the dark round green cutout is for. I'm not sure if we have a dark round green. There's the light greens. It maybe was an accidental. Go ahead and re-download that template just in case. But it looks like we just have the
two small
two
ones.
smaller ones in the light green and then the dark green leaves.
I guess we could show that. Yeah, look at the PDF template and see if it's there. If it's coming up on the cutting in the SVG, it's probably, I don't know, sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, before I decide where my stem's going to go, I'm going to, this is hard because I have to hold it up to see it. I'm going to kind of move my flowers around and make sure they're facing the right way. Because when you're trying to get them on the stem, it's not always super easy to make sure they're going the right direction.
Yeah.
But that's why you can just kind of move them around. You might want to use your pliers to grab on really well.
Just make sure your glue is dry.
Make sure your glue is dry. So you want all of your flowers to be facing the same direction. Where that larger split is at the bottom.
Pablo is wondering how many tries does it take for us to design a flower, especially when we're making SVGs?
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean, some of our flowers we have we have a lot of experience with different flowers, so we can pull from different flowers for new ones. I generally do a prototype and then I'll do a refined prototype. Is usually like the prototype. My first one is usually not the final.
Yeah, gotta have room to play a little
Yeah.
bit with the first one.
So I'm kind of arranging this so that these three aren't in a line quite so much. I wanted to have this one a little bit in, similar to this. So you can see how it's more arched. So it brings an arch inward rather than outward. And then I'll bring this guy in, arch him where I want. It's so thick right now. There's so many wires on here. And then just kind of arrange these. Now, honestly, I would go back and do another 2 or 3 crepe on top of this just to make it as smooth as possible. I'm not going to bore you all with that. I'm just going to come back later and finish that. Okay, so let's do a front here. How long do we want this stem?
Maybe like there.
Let's try that. So I like to look at it, hold it up against the pot and see what seems to be the most natural. That looks pretty good to me. So now I know exactly where my leaves belong. I'm going to make a little mark right there with my thumbnail, and that's where I'll attach the 3 leaves. And I might cut off, well, it looks like it came out perfect. I don't have to cut off any wire leaves.
Oh, that one's the shortest one though.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. We'll probably have to trim up. And again, this one, you want to have a nice secure base, so go ahead and do a few rounds of crepe paper on this. Right now I'm just adding one at a time just so it's not quite a big mess, and then I'll do my final wrap.
And it looks so real, so pretty. And now we have 2, so each of us can have one.
There we go. And you don't need to worry about the direction the leaves go at this point. Just get them on. I'll spend a few rounds of crepe paper at this base just to make it super secure. And we find that using this crepe paper wrap technique along with this amazing glue, it's the most solid. It works, in my opinion, better than crepe or better than floral tape. The floral tape, as it ages, it kind of loses its stickiness, and we've had things fall apart.
Yeah, floral tape is a little tricky.
Yeah, I do like this better. My hands are very gummy and green. Any questions on the pots or potting?
They're all just sharing great advice.
Oh, good. We'll share it. Let's hear it.
Well, let's see. Christine recommended using patio furniture spray. They used, what was it? It was like a texture spray. I kind of lost it up here. A desert colored bisque spray paint to spray clear pot or vases to make them look a little bit more interesting. And using clear spray paint over the top of other regular spray paint if you do that instead of a textured spray. All sorts of ideas coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could also use a very basic terracotta pot with these orchids, and that would be gorgeous.
I don't know what I just knocked off the table. Yeah, I think a terracotta pot would be really pretty. We all have, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I know I have my fair share of faded pots that joined the pot graveyard. Once the plant died, I've got a whole collection of those.
And you can also paint them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could paint the terracottas as well.
Oh yeah, terracottas are great for painting.
All right, I finished the stem. You can see I would probably let this dry for a while before I put it in the pot, but we are here, so I'm going to slide it into the foam. And once I have it in the foam, I can start arranging. I think that the stem could have been a little bit shorter. Whoop, I'm going to do that. It's always harder to do, though, after the foam sticking to the glue, too. You might want to get some more industrial strength at this point because we have a lot of wire here.
A little taller isn't too bad, personally.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to bend it. I like to have it so that the leaves hit the base here of the rocks or the floral, and then you can kind of arrange your leaves. Maybe a back one is a bit higher, and then the front two. We'll make that stand up. When I'm working with, real orchids, I'll actually put some curly willow or some sort of bamboo or something. And you could do that if you wanted to. You don't need to, since these are going to stand up really nicely. But if you want a bit more of a realistic look, you could add that as well.
Beautiful.
So there we have it.
I love it.
Oh, forgot.
Oh,
Hello. Yeah. Let's do this. Brush. Everything's such a mess here. Blending brush is over there.
It's over there.
No?
Check it's in there.
Oh, okay. Right, I'm going to take just a little bit of pan pastel and, okay, whoops, and maybe do this before you stick it in the pot. So you don't spill. And just blend out that light green and the dark green. You could probably, maybe use a color pencil. You could probably use some paint that you could blend. There's different things you can use. You can see how I've bent my wires to make my flowers land where I want them to in the arrangement.
So pretty.
Here we go. I love a nice arch to these flowers too.
And yeah, you can fiddle with these and get them exactly in the shape that you want.
All right.
Beautiful.
Any last minute questions? I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yes.
Yeah. And we thank you everybody so much for joining us today. And we hope you enjoy your Crafternoons with your friends and giving these away to your loved ones.
And remember, you can always come back and watch this. And I would always encourage you to invite a friend to come and make one of these with you.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.